Hi, Jeannine. It's Margie with Basmati. How are you?
Great, Margie. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you for taking the time to meet with us today.
Of course. My pleasure. I'm excited.
So today we're speaking with Jeannine Kim with JeannineKim.com. She's going to tell us a little bit about her spiritual journey, maybe some stories of how she got to where she is today. And let's do it, Jeannine.
Awesome, Margie. Thank you. Well, my journey is really all about a discovery of myself and more or less what I would say just allowing who I've been since I was a child finally come into be. And I would say that one of the first memories I had, particularly around my spiritual sense, was I'm adopted, and my mother and I were going to do some kind of photo shoot for the Cradle, which I was adopted from out of Chicago, and just to kind of show the children that come from there and whatnot. And on the way there, I had to be about 6 or so, I started telling her about a dream I had the night before. Like, oh, Mom, we were at this house, and it had two of these tall trees in the front on the other side of the garage, and the walkway went all the way around to the front door, and the house was brown, and I explained all of these specifics. And she's like, okay. And she's trying to find her way there because we had never been there before, and she was half listening. And so when we show up, when we pull up in the driveway, she puts her head up, looks at the house, and just froze. And I'm like, oh, this is it. And she was really taken aback by it. And the way at the time I perceived it, her shock was that it wasn't really a positive attribute for me to have because it somewhat startled her. Actually, it startled her quite a bit. And she didn't respond to it at all. So I believe that in a couple other instances, I kind of tucked it away. But as time went by, it would just, little bits like this would always happen along the way. And finally, after years of continuing to do spiritual work, being taken away with like yoga and loving that and getting body work done, even as I worked through the financial industry, I finally decided it was time for change. And I went into the healing world and brought that spiritual essence back out. And there's when I found my group of people who really were able to look at that unafraid and support that within me. So it's wonderful. I'm glad I'm here.
I'm really glad you're here. And it's wonderful that you allowed yourself to go into that work, because I know some of us, it was scary, especially if we didn't feel supported, right? And growing up with that. So
yeah.
Wonderful that you tapped into it and allowed yourself to really, really connect with it. So I want to ask you a little bit about your work as an intuitive reader. I know that you do medium and astrology and Reiki and a whole bunch of fun stuff. So tell me a little bit about that and when you're working with clients and what that looks like.
All right. Well, all of the work that I do right now, I've kind of gotten away a bit from the yoga and the body work and things of that nature. And a big majority of my work is the intuitive work. And all of the tools that I have are really just kind of platforms to allow that voice to come through. So whether it be through a long-distance Reiki healing, or whether it's through astrology, or just a flat-out intuitive reading, again, these are the ways in which I can tap that inner message that really allows for me to connect with your higher self, your greater intention, somebody's, vaster insight, and then deliver that to them in that way. So these are just platforms in a way that I could really connect and bring that message forth. And I love the work because when the consciousness rises within you and you really feel seen and understood and felt by someone who understands like deep things that, you didn't think anybody knew about yourself, like for me, it gives me it's like a little camel at an oasis. You're like, yay, I could keep going now. And that's the purpose, is so you could feel seen and then be excited about yourself and empowered and then move forward. So that's what I bring with my intuitive work. It's really a reckoning of self.
That's fantastic and so true, right?
Right.
So I imagine that, obviously you do some of it remotely and in person, and you do birthday scopes. So what a fun birthday gift idea.
Yes.
So what do those look like?
The birthday scope, yes, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, so would you go into like straight astrology, or do we zoom out a little bit, or?
Right. Well, what I like to do is with the astrology, I start with that, and then I tap into that space, because a lot of people, if they're unsure about my intuitive work or what that even means in the realm of the world, they could almost like look at the stars and say, well, I read my horoscopes on the weekends. Let me listen to this. It almost feels like a nice segue into a little bit of a deeper insight. And so I use that to kind of frame what's going on for the entire year for them. So it'll be like an annual horoscope, right?
Yeah.
But then I take it a little deeper, and once I do the insight through the stars, through the 5D astrology, I move into an intuitive message. And that just comes through as a channel for anybody who's going to purchase it, which is it's kind of a collective group that is kind of, really already understood and known, not by me consciously, but, through the ethers and whatnot. And then from there, I really love to ground the conscious insight with transformational breath work. It clears the system of anything that people have been through in the past year through actual breath work, which is a tangible experience of healing, brings in new life to the cells through breath. And then from there, I offer a guided meditation specific to that birthday sign. So they could always go back and experience that healing for themselves and listen to the words. I've had so many people say that they hear the words again and it means something different the second or third time, and they're able to get an actual healing out of this. And that's what I want people to have in the takeaway is a feeling of a new bit of self, a new solid foundation of self moving forward.
I'm so grateful you brought in the breath work, because that adds that little piece, and it also gives the person you're working with this empowering ability to understand that we truly have the ability to self-heal, and here's one tool that we can use. So that's something you can use in everyday life when you're stuck at a stoplight, right? And traffic's crazy. So what do your breathwork sessions look like? Thank you for bringing that up.
Oh, sure. So in something like the birthday scope, or even I do satsangs, which are monthly. They're designed the same way, and it's just once a month, and I have an insight, an intuitive intention for that month, and we have the same setup that I just spoke of. But in the transformational breathwork, it's not a long session, but that doesn't mean it's not potent. It's about 5 to 7 minutes long, and we do a basic 3-step breath where it's mouth open, eyes closed, and we inhale into the belly, we inhale into the heart, and then we exhale and release. And as simple as that sounds, 70% of our metabolic waste is released through the breath. 70%. Yes. That means the other 30 is through elimination and sweat. And we wouldn't think that because breath is too easy and it's cheap and, oh my God, it's inexpensive. Everybody does it, right? But it's powerful, and it's the one element that we really have the shortest time to be without before, it alters us completely.
Yes.
So when we invigorate ourselves with this breath work, you'd be surprised how much it changes someone. It invites new life into the cells, every cell. And so when the cell is formed, they have insight in there, and that means that they have to release something. And it's either emotion or physical toxicity, something of that nature. So you could have so many people have had a real experience, physical experience, emotional experience, just even with that short breathwork session within the birthday scripts and satsang. Yeah.
Yes, so true. I'm so digging this right now. Like I love every piece of it, and you've hit all the components, right? You're giving people tangible things to do, not only with their birth chart and breath work, right? But also like you get into chakra clearing, all these like fun things.
Yeah.
Oh, Jeannine, super great stuff.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to chat with us today, Jeannine, and I am looking forward to chatting with you again.
Thank you so much. Me too, Margie. Me too. I'm really excited. It's a great time for all of us. Thank you.
And so you'll find Jeannine on JeannineKim.com. That's JeanninineKime.com. jeannine.com. Oh, Jeannine, you have a fantastic day.
I will, Margie. Thank you. You too.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.